Hello everyone, I'm Kim and you're at Kim's Cozy Corner. I am working on peppers today in my GreenStalk vertical planters. I like to grow my sweet or no heat, non-spicy peppers in my GreenStalk vertical planters. I have two vertical planters behind me here. I have one here with nothing in it, and then I have one vertical planter where I have some plants that I put in the planter last year this time. So some of these plants are a year old. I took these peppers inside into my indoor grow space, and I enjoyed peppers all winter long. Now, I didn't know I was going to enjoy peppers all winter long. I took each one of the plants and I cut them all the way down till there was nothing left except for just the stub, and they came back. They grew leaves, they bloomed, and I had peppers indoors throughout the winter months. And so I brought these back outside now. Some of them did die out. Some of the pockets have nothing in them. Some pockets did really well. I have one pocket here. It's going to be very hard to see. I've already cut it back again since I brought it outside, and it's already giving me fresh leaves. So it's happy and it's going to come back for me. And then I started some peppers indoors last fall, and I stuck some of those in here and they are doing great. Here's a banana pepper here that's doing really, really well. It's got blooms on it, and it was started in, I think, December. And there are banana peppers, and we've already gotten some banana peppers off of it. This is a yellow monster, which I started indoors, and I haven't enjoyed a yellow monster pepper yet, but it's got blooms all over it. It's happy. What else do I have here? This is a Zulu, which is kind of like a bell pepper. It's really deep purple in color, but it's a thin wall pepper. And I have had 2 or 3 Zulu peppers so far, and they're really good. And honestly, now this one's not looking too happy, but since I brought it outside about 3 weeks ago now, I expected it to die, just to be honest with you, because I left it out and we had some cold nights and I didn't cover this planter at all. So this one's not looking too happy, but a little fertilizer will wake it up, I believe. And then what else is in here? Another banana pepper here. All the rest of these are from last season, and I've cut those all the way back to just nubs. And we are going to see if they're going to come on back this year and be happy. I'm already seeing some of them with some new green leaves where I had cut them back, and they look happy. So I think we're going to be good to go. So we are going to fill in all the open pockets here with new pepper starts that I grew myself indoors. They've been growing now for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. And they're ready to stretch their legs out. They need a little more room, and they're ready to stretch on out. And so they're ready for the GreenStalk. And so usually I have one GreenStalk vertical planter full of peppers. And here's a picture of last year's GreenStalk. It was absolutely beautiful, and it produced all season long. And then when I thought I was getting ready to take them out for the season, at the last minute, I decided to take it indoors. So we're going to try that again this year. So I'm going to keep that in mind all season long. But I did so well with that one planter, we're going to start a second planter this year. So we're going to have 2 GreenStalks full of what I call my sweet peppers. Now they come in all different shapes and sizes, but they will be no heat peppers in these 2 GreenStalks that we're getting ready to put together. In the GreenStalk, I am using a Fox Farm. I think Happy Frog is in most of these planters here, and this is Happy Frog here. Or I've used Fox Farm Ocean Forest. And so those are the 2 Fox Farm products I use. I do use both. But I've topped off these containers with the Happy Frog. Now, I'm hearing Happy Frog is better than the Ocean Forest, but we'll find out this season because I have some of both, but both are great products. So we're going to just get started. We're going to fill the pockets all the way up to the top, which I've already done here, and I've done that in both of these planters. So a little pre-work, right? So you don't have to see me doing that. But I filled each of the pockets all the way up to the top. And then I've already put fertilizer. I mixed that in each of the pockets as well. This is Dr. Earth, which is a granular fertilizer. And I put that granular fertilizer in when I put my transplants in. I always put the granular fertilizer in. And then once my plants are established, I would do a liquid fertilizer every 10 to 14 days. So my vertical planters are always going to be happy. They're going to get the liquid fertilizer, which is that immediate response, and the granular fertilizer is that slow release. So they're going to be happy. We're also going to add the Mykos into each of the pockets as well for all of my transplants. And the Mykos will help the roots get established and get happy in the soil. I say getting one with the soil is what I like to say. So let's just get started. Now we're going to make sure that we are not putting paprika in these towers. Paprika might be sweet, but it has some spice to it, just a little bit of heat. And I keep telling everybody that I almost got put out of my own house. My mom was ready to put me out because she told me I lied to her and I gave her a hot pepper, but I didn't realize that paprika has just a teeny little bit of heat to it. So no paprika in these. I'm going to work on both of these at the same time. Just going to depend on what I pick up first. So I am going to be putting bell peppers in this one behind me. So I'm going to turn around and work on that one. Now I grew about 40 or 45 different types of peppers. And so I do have some what I call medium heat peppers that I will be planting. We're just not going to do that today. We're going to get these 2 GreenStalks planted up. And that's all we're going to focus on this video. I already have some little baby name tags in here, the little bitty ones. I don't worry too much about my name tags for my peppers because I usually can tell pretty quickly what type of pepper I have. So I just watered these last night and I'm not getting the soil, but I'm just getting the roots. Some of the dirt staying behind because they're a little too wet. If you know you're going to be planting your transplants, it's not a bad idea to let them dry out just a little bit. That'll help with you removing them from the containers. It'll also keep you from disturbing the soil too much from a root standpoint, because you don't want to pull them out and the dirt stay behind like on mine. But, you know, if it happens, you just need to be delicate and gentle with it and it'll be okay. I'm also going to put this California Wonder Orange in here. Now, when you are choosing which peppers you want to put in your GreenStalk, you do need to look at the type of pepper you are growing. Different peppers grow to different sizes in height, right? So some peppers stay kind of short. They only get, between, 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. And then there's some peppers that get super, super tall. So make sure you understand the varieties that you're adding into your GreenStalk. That's why I like to share what I'm putting in my GreenStalk. And you can also top off your peppers, and that will give you a shorter, bushier plant, which would be perfect for your GreenStalks as well. There are certain peppers I've put in my GreenStalk, and I found out later, like, maybe I shouldn't have put that pepper in the top tier. Maybe it should have been in the bottom tier because it gets a little taller. And I will be telling you about some of those peppers as well, but I'm keeping you informed on everything that I'm doing so that you can learn from me and hopefully you can share some of your things as well, and I can continue to learn from you. So we're going to add another King of the North, I believe. King of the North was actually designed for gardeners in the north. Now, peppers like warm seasons, and for gardeners in the north, you know, their season's not as long as those who have their seasons down south. So it's designed for gardeners who grow in the north. And last year was the first year that I grew King of the North, and it did amazing. Really nice bell peppers. I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't tell the difference between them or the California Wonders. So they did really well. So we got those in here as well. So in the bottom, I have all different types of bell. I have the King of the North. I have California Wonder. I have Zulu. I have a orange California Wonder. And I have a purple beauty. All bells in the bottom. Let's see what we're going to add next. Okay, I am going to add this short red. I think this is a bell pepper as well. It's from a seed share. We're going to put some Costa Rica in here too. Now, if you look at this picture again from last year, you'll see I do have trellising on my peppers. And I get my trellising, this green trellising that you see is from the GreenStalk website. It's GreenStalks design. And I use it on my beans, I use it on my peppers, I use it on tomatoes. There will be a link to the GreenStalk website where you can pick yourself up a GreenStalk or the accessories like this. I have wheels on this particular one, and there's an ultimate spinner that's allowing me to turn it around. You can pick all of those things up from the GreenStalk website. And if you purchase $75 or more, you can use my coupon code, Kozy10, and you can get $10 off of your order if it's $75 or more. So that's something you can keep in mind. If they're having a sale, you can still add on my coupon code and get that $10 off. So you might as well, if you're like me, you like a good sale. And I'm always looking for a good sale. Now I am putting in some pockets 2 peppers versus 1, but you really should only put 1 pepper per pocket. It just happened to be 2 in a container in each little cell, so I'm putting 2 in there. Once one really takes off, I'll cut the other one back, or I might just let it grow. Peppers like to grow close to one another. All right, I'm also putting in a Cubanelle. Now I found Cubanelle did need to be on one of my lower levels because it did get a little taller than some of my other peppers. So I try to keep it on one of the lower levels. I think I had it on the 2nd level from the top last year. I mean, and it did fine. It did fine on that level as well, but I'm going to keep it down a little lower. Okay, I'm going to keep working on these all the way around, and I will bring you back and let you know how I ended up planting out this whole planter, and then we're going to move over to the other planter. All right, I have this GreenStalk all the way planted out. Let me tell you what I did in this planter. In the very top, I put snacking peppers all the way around the top. So I have my Pippin Golden Honey, I have my red yummies, my orange yummies, and my yellow yummies. Now, these yummy peppers that I'm talking about are 10-year-old seeds that were harvested from my neighbor's garden 10 years ago. And I've been planting these seeds now. This is going on the 3rd season, I believe, that I've been planting these seeds in my gardens, in my GreenStalks, in the raised beds, and we're planting them again. So we have a pocket of red, a pocket of orange, and a pocket of yellow. I've found that these plants stay relatively short and bushy, and so I put them in the top tier of this GreenStalk here. The 2nd tier down has a variety of things. It's a mixture between horn-shaped peppers as well as bell peppers. I have a yellow monster in here, which is a massive yellow bell pepper. I have the traditional California Wonder in here. I also have Joe Parker in here, which is more horn shaped, a Purple Beauty, which is a purple bell pepper, and I think that's it in this row. The next one down, I have Cubanelle, Jimmy Nardello, Costa Rica, and a short red pepper from a seed share. So mostly horn-shaped peppers, but there are a couple bells in here. In the very bottom, I have all bell peppers, and they're in many different colors. There's a California orange, a California Wonder red, there's a Zulu, which is purple, and there's a purple bell down there, as well as a King of the North. So this one is all ready to go. But I'm going to step just to the side here, and we're going to finish off this one that has some peppers from last year in it, as well as peppers that we started over the winter. And we're going to fill in the blank spaces. So I'll jump over there next. Even though this planter doesn't look like much, this is the one I am most interested in this year, since I have year-old plants in here and plants that I started this winter, and just in general, my favorite pepper is going in this container here. So in the very bottom, I will be putting what I call Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is my all-time favorite pepper. It's a thick wall, horn-shaped, extremely sweet pepper. I use it for everything, and it's my favorite pepper. I tell everybody about this pepper. You know, I even say that this pepper will give you a cavity because it's so sweet. And I had a few people have some chuckles and giggles because I said it'll give you a cavity, but this is my favorite pepper, and I plan on ensuring I have plenty of those in this container. So I'm going to plant at least 2 in the bottom here. Now, this pepper gets tall. I've had it grow almost to the top of this tower, so I always put Thunderbolt in the bottom. And I try to stimulate side shoots, because it will grow straight up on you and it will get really tall. So Thunderbolt needs to be in the bottom tier. So that's my favorite pepper. My second favorite pepper would be the Marconi, giant Marconi, which is similar to the Thunderbolt, but it doesn't get quite as large. The Thunderbolt can get up to a foot long. I had some really big ones last year. I'm not going to lie. There was some really nice long ones. I don't know if they got up to a foot, but every bit 10 inches for sure. I'm going to grow it every year for now. From now to the end of time, I will be growing Thunderbolt. Now, when these peppers were inside, I did cut the tips out of them to try to stimulate more side growth on them. And the 2 that I just put in here, they look pretty good. Looks like there might be some side growth, which is what we're looking for. And I have 3 plants in here that are from last year. And I hope they come back. I really do hope they come back. I did enjoy peppers off of them through the winter. I said 3. Yeah, they're 3. I did enjoy peppers on them through the winter, and they were good. Now, the peppers that grew inside, they didn't get as big as the ones that grow outside. So in the same container, I did get the Thunderbolt, I did get the giant Marconi, but they were small in comparison to what I grew outside last year. And I wasn't expecting any, so I was happy with that. Now these are still green. I believe they're going to come back. We will wait and see. We're going to move on up here to this next level, and we're going to put the Marconi in here. And I'm not playing around with these, if you can tell. I'm not. I'm making sure there's room, because I know these peppers get really large. I will not put 2 peppers in a pocket. I mean, I shouldn't be putting 2 peppers in a pocket anyway, but I know these get large, so I don't want the pocket too full. I don't want them root bound or anything like that. So 1 pepper per pocket, the way we're supposed to do it. And yes, there's a coleus growing in here. It was a random plant that seeded itself somehow indoors, and I ended up with a coleus in my pepper plant next to my Zulu down here. And it's going to seed. I'm going to let it go to seed. I'm going to grab those seeds so I can plant them next year versus having to buy seeds. Let me keep working at this. I'll bring you back when I get it all in and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, this whole planter is done. Now, this is the planter I'm most excited about because it's got a variety of things going on in it. I have plants that are overwintered and they're over a year old. I have plants that I started indoors in the winter during the winter months, and we're almost 6 months on them. And I got brand new transplants in here, so a variety of things happening in this planter. And let me tell you what I got going in, what I just added. So in the very top of the planter, I have my no heat spicy peppers, if that makes any sense. I have nata pino in here. I have habanada in here. Those are knockoffs, if you want to call it that, of a jalapeno pepper and a habanero pepper, but it has the flavor of those peppers without the heat. So I have those in here, and I have shishitos in the top as well. Shishito peppers, I like to blister them and dip them in just a little bit of ranch dressing, and they taste amazing. So those are the peppers that I have around the top. Now I've found that all of those peppers stay much shorter in height as far as how tall they get. And this is a 4-tier original versus 5. So I'm only doing 4 tiers because I'm short and I want to be able to reach the vegetables that I have in the top. So in this top tier, which is only 4 high, the plants will probably get about this tall, which is perfect for me to be able to harvest all of those wonderful peppers. The next tier down, and actually all the way to the bottom, everything else in this GreenStalk is 1, sweet, and 2, horn shaped in some way, with the exception of 2 plants that I started earlier. So this plant right here is the yellow monster, and it's got blooms all over it. It's dark green. It's happy. Oh, it's so happy. And this pepper hopefully will be turning yellow very soon. And then next to it, I have a Zulu right here that's not really horn shaped, but it's a deep purple color. Everything else is horn shaped in some way. I have banana peppers in here. I have a Jimmy Nardello I just added in here. And what else? I have a sweet long pepper. It's like a Hungarian wax pepper, but there's no heat to it. It's sweet, and it'll start out green and then yellow, then orange, then red. So it'll get sweeter the longer you let it stay on the vine. In addition to that, I have my giant Marconi, and that sweet long pepper, Marconi peppers, as well as my Thunderbolts. I found those plants tend to get at least 3 feet tall, so putting them on the bottom 2 tiers is what makes the most sense, so that they don't be so tall that they're hanging over and don't have good trellising. And I don't want to have to bend my back to pick some of these other ones, so I put those down there. They come up, and it's the perfect height for me. So that's everything we have in here. Now, these peppers have been in here for a minute, and it's getting bushier. They're getting a little heavier. There's one here. Then there's one in the bottom here as well that's getting a little bushier thanks to this plant that's in here with it, that flower there. And so for my pepper plants, I do trellis them in my GreenStalk vertical planters. The trellising that I use, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is the GreenStalk trellis. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to this planter today, and I figured I'll bring you with me. Now, my face isn't so important here, but rather how I'm installing the trellis. So I want you to be able to see all of the different steps I'm going to use to install this planter. I have a helper helping me here today. There are 2 parts to the trellis. There are these pieces that go in between the 2 pockets, and it just sits right on top just like that. We're going to add that all the way around. Now, I really should be starting at the bottom, but I put the trellis in my little seat, so I don't have anywhere to sit right now. So we're going to start at the top, but I should be starting at the bottom. So we're going to put these pieces all the way around. All right, I have all of these pieces on, and now I'm going to start adding the piece that goes around. In order to add this piece, there's an end with a little notch on it right here. There's a little notch. That notch fits right on the edge of these pieces. So you take a piece with a notch and a piece that doesn't have a notch, right? There's the notch in, the non-notch in, and you stick this right in, and then you just click it in, just like that. And I like to put it on the little notch here, and then I work my way around. I need to put this one on the notch too. Here we go. And then I work my way around, and so I'm going to add one at a time now. So the first one you take two, then you add one at a time. You take the non-notched in, lift it up, and it sits right down in there, just like that. It locks in, click it on the little node, and then you add the next one. You take the non-notched in, click it down, put it on the node. And you do this all the way around. And now I'm to the last one. For the last one, you're going to do the same step. Click that first one in, and then you get to where I got to make these two pieces fit together. So I just lift the whole thing up just a little bit, and I don't put it on the node yet. Lift it up just a little bit, click it in, then put it on the little node. And I just make sure that it's in. And that's the process. Now let me add this to all of the other layers, and I'll bring you back. So I have all of the trellising up for this particular tower. Now this one, it's going to get even bushier, and when it does, I'll be able to lean it against this trellis here to keep it happy so the weight of that fruit won't hurt the plants, right? We don't want them to break off at the stem because they were too heavy. That's what the trellising is here for. The last step that we need to do, we need to water both of these GreenStalk vertical planters in, so we'll do that next. When you're watering your vertical planters, you always want to water from the top. And there's a place up here at the very top that you can water from. The only time that I will water an individual pocket is when I'm first planting seeds, right? Because you want to keep those top inch or so of soil moist, or if I'm putting in transplants. Now, I had prepared these GreenStalk vertical planters. They've probably been put together now for over a week and a half or so. And so the soil has completely dried out. And so all of the soil in this planter is dry. And I need to get this soil moist. So I'm going to water all the pockets, including the pockets with the stuff that was already in here, because like I said, I haven't been watering them. They've just been sitting here. And I'm still going to water from the top like I would traditionally do with an established GreenStalk. And these lids that I use, they keep trash from getting inside your GreenStalk. I love these lids. I have lids on all of my GreenStalks, especially this time of year when all kinds of stuff's falling from the sky, and that fine dust and dirt and stuff can get in here and clog up your GreenStalk, and we don't want that. So I put the covers on in the spring. Now, as the season goes on, as the season goes on, I might take the cover off. I might leave it on depending on where my GreenStalks are located, but I definitely need covers in the spring to keep that pollen and all that other fine dust that's flying around in this environment, including my whirly birds and all kinds of other green seedlings and blooms and just junk in the air that's causing my allergies to really be pretty bad right now, just to be honest with you. Now, I water from the top, and I take a bath when I'm watering from the top, apparently, but I water from the top until I either fill up this top reservoir, and then I just wait, and then I fill it up again. But I water from the top until water comes out the bottom of the GreenStalk. And you probably can't hear it, but I can hear the water working its way through the system. That's pretty awesome. So we're gonna spin around here and do the same thing to this one. But I need to do individual pockets first. All right, I got all the pockets done. And now we will fill up the reservoir. And I do have water coming out of the other one. And I'm still taking a bath, obviously. If you haven't figured out by now, I love my GreenStalks. I have 13 GreenStalks in my garden. Last year I had 11. We added 2 more this year, but those are mostly with flowers. But the GreenStalk grows so many different things, from your leafy greens all the way up to peppers and tomatoes and broccoli and cabbage and squash and cucumbers, and the list just goes on and on. If you've ever thought about getting a GreenStalk, they usually have sales throughout the year, multiple sales throughout the year, and you can take advantage of a sale and be able to get one every sale, and you can keep adding to it. Now, I didn't start with 13 GreenStalks. I started with 2, and then 2 turned into 3, that turned into 5, that turned into 10, and now I'm at 13. There's got to be therapy for this, because I am definitely addicted to the GreenStalks. Currently, the GreenStalks that I have already set up for the year include lettuce. Now we have peppers, we have flowers, we have strawberries. We have a few herbs in our GreenStalks as well. Oops. And I do have broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage over at the neighbors. We have tomatoes already over at the neighbors. We have a little bit of bok choy, I believe, over at the neighbors. But that's it so far. So I still have 3 more GreenStalks that I need to set up for the season. Now that'll be another video. But those will be tomatoes and beans. So we'll be doing some wax beans and some purple, royal purple, I think is what it's called, beans in our GreenStalk. So 3 to go, and then we'll have them all set up for the year. Well, I'm going to let you go while I finish getting these watered in, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to keep the videos coming. I like to show you everything I'm doing, not just with my GreenStalks, but with my raised beds as well. So come with me as I'm growing another year's supply of vegetables. You're at Kim's Cozy Corner. Come back and join me again real soon. Bye.